Minneapolis app. The latest from the Super Bowl. All times local 7:15 p.m. Nick Foles caught a 1-yard touchdown pass from tight end Trey Burton on a fourth down trick play, and the Philadelphia Eagles have a 2,212 halftime lead over the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. Article continues below. The Foles score came after Tom Brady dropped an over-the-shoulder catch on a trick play for New England on an earlier drive that ended in a failed fourth down play. With 34 seconds left in the half, Foles lined up at quarterback before shifting behind the right side of the offensive line as Corey Clement took the snap. Foles paused at the line of scrimmage before running to the end zone as Burton took a reverse pitch from Clement. Burton was recruited as a quarterback at Florida. Foles and Tennessee's Marcus Mariota are the only quarterbacks to throw and catch a touchdown in the playoffs since at least 1950. The Eagles answered a 26-yard scoring run by James White that pulled the Patriots within 3. Stephen Gostkowski missed the pat kick. Earlier, the Eagles' Jake Elliott missed and the Eagles failed on a 2-point conversion. White, who had 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion in last year's Super Bowl win over Atlanta, has 26 career points in the Super Bowl. That's 4th all-time behind Jerry Rice 48, Adam Vinatieri 34 and Emmitt Smith 30. 6:45 p.m. New England Patriots wide receiver Brandin Cooks is out for the rest of the Super Bowl with a concussion. Cooks was wide open early in the second quarter underneath the Philadelphia zone, when he caught Tom Brady's pass, pivoted and danced back and forth to try to extend the play. He didn't see Eagles safety Michael Jenkins coming, though, and was knocked to the turf with a legal but jarring hit by Jenkins. Cooks was barely moving for several seconds, before sitting up and slowly walking off the field. The Patriots soon announced he was out for the remainder of the game with a head injury. This leaves Brady without one of his most important targets. Cooks was second on the team during the regular season with 1,082 yards and 7 touchdowns, a critical contribution amid the absence of wide receiver Julian Edelman. The first Super Bowl of Cooks' career was a short but rough one. He took a jet sweep handoff in the first quarter and tried to hurdle Eagles safety Rodney McLeod hit him in the groin area and slammed him backward to the turf at the 8-yard line after only a 1-yard gain on 3rd and 2. Then Patriots kicker Stephen Gostkowski had a 26-yard field goal try bounce off the left upright after a mishandled snap. 6:35 p.m. Turns out Tom Brady's not quite as good on the other end of a pass, and Philadelphia's lead is growing. Brady botched an attempted over-the-shoulder catch on a throw from receiver Danny Amendola on a trick play. The Patriots went for it on 4th and 5 after that play, and Brady's throw to Rob Gronkowski was knocked away by Philadelphia's Jalen Mills. 6 plays later, LeGarrette Blount scored on a 21-yard run. The 2-point conversion pass attempt by Nick Foles fell incomplete, leaving the Eagles' lead at 153. Earlier in New England's drive, Brandin Cooks stayed motionless on the field for about a minute after a hard blindside hit to the head from Malcolm Jenkins at the end of a 23-yard catch. It was announced that Cooks wouldn't return. 6:08 p.m. Nick Foles isn't having any trouble moving the Philadelphia offense against the defending champion New England Patriots. Foles threw a 34-yard touchdown pass to a leaping Alshon Jeffrey in the back of the end zone to give the Eagles a 93 lead in the first quarter. Jake Elliott missed his 5th pat kick of the season, going wide right. Foles was 8 of 11 for 102 yards on the first 2 Philadelphia possessions. The Patriots matched the Eagles' field goal on the opening drive. It was the first time in 8 Super Bowls with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick that New England scored in the first quarter. 6 p.m. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots have finally scored points in the first quarter of a Super Bowl. The Patriots answered an opening field goal by the Philadelphia Eagles with Stephen Gostkowski's 26-yarder for a 33 tie on New England's first possession. It's the first time in 8 Super Bowl appearances that the Patriots have scored in the first quarter with Brady and coach Bill Belichick. The key plays were Brady's completions of 28 yards to Chris Hogan and 15 yards to running back James White. Both teams drove 67 yards to their first points. 5:45 p.m. A Metro Transit spokesman says 17 people were taken away after they blocked a light rail line carrying Super Bowl ticket holders to the stadium. Howie Padilla says no one was hurt in the protest, which blocked trains for about 2 hours ahead of Sunday's kickoff. Metro Transit had buses standing by to get ticket holders to the stadium in time. The activists said they were protesting police brutality, as well as the light rail trains being taken over by Super Bowl spectators rather than being available to ordinary citizens. Padilla says Metro Transit doesn't expect the 17 activists to face charges. He says Metro Transit respects people's right to free speech and demonstration. 5:44 p.m. The Philadelphia Eagles have settled for Jake Elliott's 25-yard field goal in a 30 lead over the New England Patriots on the opening drive of the Super Bowl. The Eagles had a first down at the 5 after Corey Clement's 16-yard gain on a catch and run. But a penalty and 2 incomplete passes forced Philadelphia to settle for the field goal. The Patriots will take over looking for their first points in the first quarter in 8 Super Bowl appearances with quarterback Tom Brady. Quarterback Nick Foles had completions of 17 yards to Alshon Jeffrey and 15 yards to Torrey Smith the play after Smith had a drop on second down. 5:07 p.m. The New England Patriots have won the opening coin toss for the Super Bowl and have deferred to the second half. The Philadelphia Eagles will start the game with the ball and hope to be the first team to score on the opening possession of the Super Bowl since Devin Hester returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown for Chicago against Indianapolis in the 2007 game. 5:25 p.m. No players from New England and Philadelphia were kneeling or sitting during the national anthem before the Super Bowl. Nearly all the Patriots stood in line with their right hands over their hearts during Pink's singing of the Star-Spangled Banner. 5 p.m. Police in Minneapolis have removed protesters who locked themselves across a light rail line near US Bank Stadium, temporarily halting trains carrying fans to the Super Bowl. Live footage from the scene Sunday showed police working to unlock a cut locks the protesters had used at the stop near the University of Minnesota's West Bank Station. That's about a half-mile from the stadium. The footage showed protesters in zip ties waiting to board a bus to be carried from the scene. Protesters blocked the line shortly after 2 p.m., saying they were protesting police brutality as well as the light rail line being turned over to Super Bowl fans for the day. Metro Transit was busing fans the rest of the way to the game. 4:45 p.m. Carson Wentz is throwing passes in warm-ups for the Philadelphia Eagles. The injured quarterback was walking gingerly and not stepping into the throws as he worked alongside starter Nick Foles. Wentz tore a ligament in his left knee against the Los Angeles Rams in Week 14. Foles led playoff wins against Atlanta and Minnesota. Foles is trying to join Bob Grease, Doug Williams and Jeff Hostetler as backups to win Super Bowls after starting no more than 5 games during the regular season. The Eagles are playing the New England Patriots, who are trying to win their 6th Super Bowl with quarterback Tom Brady. 4:29 p.m. President Donald Trump is expressing appreciation for U.S. service members, who he says make occasions like Super Bowl Sunday possible. Trump said that, while many service members can't be home to enjoy the American tradition with family and friends, they are always in our thoughts and prayers. He said they're owed the greatest respect for defending our liberty and our American way of life, and their sacrifices, stitched into each star and every stripe of our Star-Spangled Banner. Trump also said, we hold them in our hearts and thank them for our freedom as we proudly stand for the national anthem. The president has been critical of NFL players who kneel during the national anthem to protest unfair police treatment of minorities, calling it disrespectful to service members. Darlene Superville reporting from West Palm Beach, Florida. 4:20 p.m. Winning the NFL MVP award might not be a great omen for Tom Brady. The last 8 winners of the AP MVP award to reach the Super Bowl have lost the game, including Brady in the 2007 season against the New York Giants. The other MVPs to lose the big game since Kurt Warner did the regular season Super Bowl MVP double in the 1999 season for the Rams are Warner 2001, Rich Gannon 2002, Shaun Alexander 2005, Peyton Manning 2009 and 2013, Cam Newton 2015 and Matt Ryan 2016. Brady would rather join Warner, Steve Young 1994, Emmitt Smith 1993, Joe Montana 1989, Terry Bradshaw 1978 and Bart Starr 1966 as the players to win the regular season and Super Bowl MVPs in the same season. Josh Dubow, 3:55 p.m. Conspiracy theorists had a field day when New England was penalized just once in the AFC Championship game against Jacksonville. But there hasn't been a huge discrepancy in playoff penalties in Patriots games during Bill Belichick's time as coach. The Patriots have been penalized an average of 4.7 times per game in the playoffs since 2001 for 37.5 yards, only slightly lower than the opponent's 5.1 penalties for 41.9 yards. New England has thrived when it avoids penalties in the playoffs, winning 15 of 17 games when called for fewer penalties than the opposition. That compares to 31 when the total penalties are even and 96 when the Patriots have more penalties. The Patriots are going for their 6th Super Bowl title against Philadelphia. Josh Dubow, 3:40 p.m. A small group of activists protesting police brutality have shut down a light rail line carrying fans to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. About 30 activists walked onto the city's Green Line at the Stadium Village stop shortly after 2 p.m. Sunday, stopping trains in both directions. The line runs from downtown St. Paul to the heart of Minneapolis, and is a main way some fans are getting to the game between the New England Patriots and Philadelphia Eagles. Chinyere Tutashinda, a spokeswoman for the activists, says some chained themselves along the track. Metro Transit spokesman Howie Padilla says the agency has contingency plans to get riders the rest of the way to US Bank Stadium. He says he's confident they'll be there for kickoff. 3 p.m. CT. The coldest Super Bowl Sunday won't be felt inside cozy US Bank Stadium. The overnight temperature in Minneapolis reached -6 degrees and was up to 2 degrees around 4 hours before kickoff between the New England Patriots and Philadelphia Eagles. The coldest previous range was the Detroit Super Bowl in 1982, with a low of 5 degrees and a high of 16 when it was played at the Silverdome. There was a chance for the Minneapolis high to reach 5 on Sunday. When the Super Bowl was in Minnesota at the Metrodome in 1992, the outside temperature at kickoff was 26 degrees. That's the average high here for Feb. For the coldest outdoor game in Super Bowl history was in New Orleans at Chilean Stadium in 1972, when the kickoff temperature was 39 degrees. For more app NFL coverage, http www.pro32.app.org and http www.twitter.com info.